What is up, guys? Welcome to the first ever episode of the Game Changers podcast. My name is Ben. I'm going to be the host for this podcast, and today we have a very special guest, James Murray Boyles. Thanks for being here. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me and being a part of your first ever episode.
I'm happy to have you here. So there's a reason why you're the first player that I wanted to be on this podcast. You're the first player that ever gave me a chance to show me or to let me show what I can do by creating videos and filming pro athletes. So I'm very thankful for that. I really appreciate it. So we're going to step in just for the people that are watching and listening that don't know you yet. Just give them a quick introduction and tell them what they need to know about you.
Yeah, my name is James Murray Boyles. I play professional basketball. I'm 26 years old, and this is my 5th year playing. And now I'm in Germany. I've been in a few different countries, and yeah.
Okay, so we're going to go into this podcast episode, and this is a question where I'm really curious what you're going to answer. So just be honest. At the time, probably like 4 months ago, something like that, when I got in touch with you, I didn't really have any videos that were that good. I didn't really have a camera yet that was decent. So I didn't really have a portfolio yet. I didn't really have anything to show. But you still gave me a chance to come out and film for you. What was the reason for you to say, okay, I'll give him a chance, even though he didn't really, I haven't been around in this pro league yet?
Well, I got a friend that I met. His name is Courtney.
Oh yeah,
And
shout out Courtney.
yeah, shout out to Courtney. He's from South Carolina, not far from where I'm from. And he just messaged me one day. He was like, yo, bro, I got a guy that wants to create content. He wants to get into basketball. He's been filming some football, but he wants to definitely get into professional basketball. And I was somebody that me and Courtney had just met, so.
Oh, okay, so you guys didn't know each other that well yet?
No.
Oh, okay.
We kind of knew each other a little bit. We had got to know each other, but
Okay.
we had met probably like a month before I met you.
Oh, really?
And then,
Okay.
yeah, he was like, I know somebody, he wants to really start working with basketball players, and he wanted to know if you would give him the opportunity, and I was all for it because, I mean, I didn't really mind if you wanted to do it. And he said you would do it for free. It wasn't like I would have had to pay you, so I was all for it.
Yeah,
for helping
that's
someone else.
like the kind of the most important thing and that was the most important thing for me I don't want to get into this by going to you as a first player and say, okay, this is the price.
Right.
That's not going to work. That's not the way the world works.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
first I need to create my stuff. I mean, first I got to prove that I could do something, even for other players.
Right.
And that's how the whole thing begins. And I'm really thankful for that. I really appreciate
sure.
it. You really helped me out a lot. Yeah, dang, we're going to cut that out. Okay, so we're going to start off. So right now, from today, December, we almost have Christmas.
Yep.
But from now on, we're going to go all the way back to your childhood. I mean, I grew up here on the German side, and sports isn't that big here. You really don't have a lot of options. It's mostly just soccer. But in the States, you have all these different options when you go to high school. So walk us through your childhood, the way you grew up, the way you played different sports, maybe. I don't know yet. So yeah, just walk us through your childhood.
Yeah, well, I grew up in Columbia, South Carolina my whole life. That's where most of my family lives. I got 2 brothers, one older, one younger. But I mean, I feel like I had a pretty good childhood. I played a lot of sports. I was good at pretty much all of them.
So you play like football and...
Yeah, I played football, I played baseball, and I did taekwondo, and I even did
Dang.
gymnastics one time when I was in like kindergarten.
Okay, so I'm not gonna make you mad here.
Yeah. But yeah, I was a really active kid. My parents pushed me to play sports, and my older brother always liked sports, so that was the reason why I was always into it. I always wanted to do everything my older brother was doing. So yeah, I was really into sports growing up. I was always around my family when I was younger. I had a lot of cousins, a lot of male cousins, so like it was a very competitive they were always hard on me because at one point I was the youngest. So like,
So are you taller than them now, or bigger, or?
I'm the tallest one of my family besides my younger brother. My younger brother's taller than me.
Oh
So
wow, okay.
yeah. So now I kind of outgrown them. So like, they always joke about that because they used to be way bigger than me, but now my brother and I are way bigger than them. But yeah, I used to always try to, because all of my family lived pretty much in the same area. Like, we were all basically neighbors, and we kind of lived on the countryside in Colombia. And
So you weren't far from your family, from your cousins, or?
nah, bro, like we were literally all next door neighbors.
So really next door, dang.
Like I don't know how it's kind of hard to envision, but like I had like my grandma here, my aunts here, my like all in the right next door, all next to each other. So I had a lot of family around me at all times. Mostly boys too, like I said. So it was real competitive. They were always tough, and that taught me a lot growing up.
From your childhood on, it kept going. So you started middle school, and then went into high school. So did anything change? So did you at one point start saying, okay, I have to focus on basketball more, or basketball is the sport that I want to focus and just get into basketball more?
As a child, like we played all kind of sports, like just like I said with the family, like. But my older brother, his favorite sport was basketball. That's why I gravitated more towards basketball. Like basketball was never even the sport I was best at growing up. I don't think I was best at probably baseball, and
Really, you were better than?
yeah,
Dang.
I was probably better at baseball. But like I didn't have as much passion for it because my older brother liked basketball more, and like I said, my mom and my father kept me in sports, and they put me in organized sports really young. So I was playing for teams, so I knew like how to play with a team. It wasn't like I was just playing with my friends and out in the streets and stuff like that. So I was playing in an organized setting. Since as young as I can remember, I've been playing basketball and all these other type of sports. But so I just like kept going with it all the way up until from elementary school. I was playing for Parks, and then middle school goes on. I was playing for a middle school team. I went to Cardinal Newman, and that was a private school. So I played on the B team when I was in, I think, 6th grade. Then going on to 7th grade, I still played, and I was still playing baseball and football at that time too. I think cut.
Oh, so you were still playing three sports
Yeah,
at that time?
I was still playing those sports
Oh wow,
all the
okay.
way up until my sophomore year in high school is when I decided to just focus on basketball.
Okay.
But
So it kind of took a while for you to kind of realize, okay, it's if there's one sport I want to go pro in, it's probably going to be
well,
basketball.
it wasn't even about pro then.
It was just
Like
about
it was
like
just
fun.
about because I mean, like I said, I wasn't that good yet,
Oh,
and
okay. So you
I
weren't
mean,
at that level.
I was looking back, I wasn't that good, but um, I definitely had some talent, but like a lot of people had talent, so I think when high school came, like I just saw that like I said, my love and I had passion for basketball. I didn't really have passion for the other sports because I
Yeah.
mean, growing up I just wanted to do what my older brother was doing, and he loved basketball. Even though he didn't really play at any high levels, he didn't even play in high school basketball, but he just loved the
Really?
sport. Yeah.
Okay.
But that was the reason why I gravitated more towards basketball was because my brother. And
Okay. So
so
he kind of made you go to basketball
I
more.
mean, he didn't make me, but like that's just where my headspace was. That's just where my head was, and I
Yeah.
just wanted to go with that. And then uh, another main reason why I decided to just stick with basketball because like the seasons kind of overlapped, and so football season would start the school year off,
Yeah.
and then like you'll be missing a lot of time of the beginning parts of the basketball season and when we were in high school.
Oh,
So
okay. Okay.
I decided to just be done with football and
Yeah.
just stick strictly to basketball. And then that was my sophomore year. I did that. and then I had a pretty good sophomore year. We had some really good players on my team, and like I said, I wasn't really that good. We had, all the time growing up, I had always had really good players on my team. If it was AAU, high school, I had a lot of good people that I could look up to.
So where are those players now? Did they go pro, or was it more like you were the only one out of that group that kind of made it?
Nah, it's definitely some player. I mean, it's some players that didn't, that could have, that didn't. Like one guy that pops into my mind from immediately is Matt Howard. And I mean, you probably, of course, don't know who he is, but he was a legend growing up when I was when I went to high school. Like, he was already like a ranked high school player. He was probably the best player in the state of South Carolina.
Yeah.
And yeah, he just like dominated, and it was just such a big difference from where I was to where he was, because like obviously he was a junior, I think, when I was or he might have been when I was a sophomore, he was a senior. That was that was when I first played with him. And yeah, he was just like so good, like to me, and nobody could tell me that he wasn't going to the NBA. And so like
so where is he now?
He ended up going to an Ivy League school, playing basketball there, and now he's making a lot of money. I don't know exactly what he does, but he's doing well for himself.
Okay.
So he didn't go pro, but I mean, he's still
doing well on money and earning stuff.
And then but it was just a lot of players that just didn't, that were just so good to me when I was like a freshman and a sophomore, that like I couldn't ever see myself being as good as them back then. But I mean,
so you just kind of stayed on track and just work, and then.
Yeah, exactly. And I give a lot of credit to my parents because of that, for keeping me on track, because I feel like that was a big part of me getting to where I am now, because my parents always did a good job of trying to keep me on track and not letting me sway away from what my main goal was. Even when I didn't know what my main goal was, they always tried to keep me with a straight head and keep me away from a lot of BS that was going on. And
yeah, that was a question I was curious to know, because obviously trying to go pro, or at that point you didn't really know yet if you could go pro or not. But during that time, like high school time, was it more like you were 100% focused on just working in the gym, like some of those Kobe quotes where he said he just dribbled himself to sleep? Or was it more like you kind of did was fun, you kind of some parties and all that stuff, or were you just kind of the guy, that's the way I am. I just stayed away from everything. There was like no.
Well, like I said, like my whole life, since I was young, I was always an athlete. So like I could never imagine my life without like playing sports and like being on a team and like having something to look forward to and having something to like be on track for. Like, so it never was a time in my life where I felt like I could even like wild out or have like, or do things that I felt like other regular kids could do. But I mean, I did have my fair share of bad decisions in high school and things of that nature. But for the most part, I definitely was on track. I definitely knew what my main purpose was, or my goal was. And at that time, you're speaking about going pro, but it wasn't even a thought at that point. I just wanted a scholarship.
Yeah.
That was the first step. Like,
oh, so the main goal for you was just stay on track for the scholarship.
When I was in high school, I just wanted a scholarship. Well, not just a scholarship, but I wanted a good scholarship. I definitely wanted to go to a good university. Okay. And because, I mean, it was competition. Like, there was a lot of players that were around that were, like, getting a lot of offers, getting a lot of notoriety for basketball and things of that nature. So, like, you see a lot of people getting these offers and getting these opportunities to go to school. So, like, you just want that for yourself. And so that was the first goal. And I always knew I would get there, but like at the same time, you still have to work towards it. Like you can't just wish for it and it just happens. So
was it mostly like because there are some athletes in high school and they realize, okay, I'm not going to make it to a good school with the grades I have. So they just go 100% on just sports and just trying to get a scholarship.
I mean, I had pretty solid grades, but like I definitely knew that I needed to get an athletic scholarship for
Okay.
sure. Like that wasn't the only option, but that was the only option for me. Like that was in my brain. That was the only option. Like
Okay.
because I had already invested so much into playing. So like
You didn't just want to waste it on just,
yeah. So like I just knew that I wanted to get an athletic scholarship for sure. And like I said, you see all your friends and all your teammates from AAU getting offers and getting opportunities to go to school. So you definitely wanted that for yourself.
yeah.
And yeah.
Okay, so we talked about the scholarships that you really wanted to go 100% on sports, or you knew a scholarship is pretty much the only way to go to a good school, and so that you had to go just 100% on that. So how did you go to college then? Which college did you, or which colleges did you apply for? Was there anything like an offer or anything? So yeah, just walk us through that.
Well, my recruiting process was kind of hectic. Uh, it starts when you play, like, it starts when you're in the AAU circuit and all this and that. Like, I had two really good teammates that were on my AAU team, Seventh Woods and Tevin Mack, and they had a lot of like notoriety and college scholarships. So like, they helped me a lot by getting recognized because they had all the coaches coming to our games.
Okay.
And so
So you
that
kind
was
of had a chance by them being okay.
right, exactly. And I had a lot of mid-major and low-major attention coming up, and when I was in high school getting recruited. And I feel like looking back, I feel like it was mainly because of the role I played like on that team with them, because they were such more like high-powered recruits than me
Okay,
at the
okay.
time. So I kind of like had to take a back seat, and that's not even a bad thing. I think that was just a part of my process of
So you were one of the better players, probably?
I just wasn't on their level at that time.
Okay.
But like I said, I think that was just a part of my process. But it still, at the same time, helped me a lot. But I wasn't even showcasing all that I could do because like I kind of was taking a backseat to them. But at the time, like I was just happy to be there. Like, and I'm not saying that I should have had a bigger role or anything like that because I don't think I was even ready at the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I had a few offers. Uh, Gardner-Webb, South Carolina State, Abilene Christian, USC Upstate. But I really wanted to go to one specific school. I wanted to go to Wofford College. You probably don't even know what that school is, but it's a mid-major Division I school.
Which
And
state is that?
it's in South Carolina.
Okay.
And that was another thing. I had such a misconception about schools back then. Like everybody, when you're that young and you're trying to get a scholarship, like you just always want to go D1, obviously.
Yeah.
Like because
And it's like everything that's not D1, you're disappointed.
right, exactly. And that's how I was at the time, and that's how everybody was. Like everybody wanted to go D1 just because of the stigma around it, or the stigma around going anything else but D1.
Yeah.
But I did have a fair share of my D1 opportunities, but I was waiting out, and wanting to get this scholarship from Wofford, and they ended up not offering me, and I ended up losing a lot of my other offers because
Oh, you waited.
because I was waiting too long
Okay.
and that was just another part of me like not having the right information on like how to go about the process. Like I didn't really know anybody firsthand that was going through that I could really get a lot of advice from. Well, I did, but I probably just didn't reach out how I
Yeah.
should have.
That's something that messes with me a lot, with
Yeah.
patience. I never know when you're waiting for something you really, really want, and then you don't know if it's gonna work out or.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. So like, I mean,
Yeah.
I ended up not going to any of those schools because I ended up waiting out too long and losing scholarships. And I remember it was one day, I don't even know what made me do it, but like, it was one day and I realized like maybe I should take a look at some D2s. Like it was a big ego hit for me, but like I said, I was just misinformed at the time and I didn't know that there was really good players that played in D2.
So you only thought about D1. You only
Right.
wanted to go D1 and anything
Right.
else is.
But once I realized that all of my offers had kind of went away, I knew I didn't want to go to a JUCO, which is like a junior college. You go there for 2 years, then you go to a university. I didn't want to do that, and I didn't want to go to a prep school. So like I said, maybe I'll take a look at some D2s in the meantime before until like a D1 comes and contacts me. So I remember it like it was yesterday. I literally looked up the top 25 in the country for D2 schools, and there's a school called UNC Pembroke, and they were, I think, number 11 in the country. I can't remember exactly. It was a while ago. This was in 2015, and I followed the coach on Twitter, the assistant coach, and he followed me right away back, and he DM'd me and asked me if like I would come on a visit. I guess not I guess, but he had already knew who I was from being on the circuit, like, because all the coaches come to all the same tournaments, and so like he had seen me play, but he thought that since I had so much other D1 interest that I wouldn't be
So you weren't thinking about
right.
that
So
school.
like as soon as he saw me show interest first by following him, he
Yeah.
immediately followed me back. I got on campus for a visit. Like that school was better than a lot of the D1 schools that I had visited.
Really?
And yeah, the facilities, just like how the campus was set up and the program as a whole. So like I wasn't planning, and I had like maybe 3 other visits set up after that. And like right after I left the visit, like me and my dad were in the truck, and I just told him that I was going to commit. Cause I at that time I was like really exhausted from the process, because like I can't remember when it was. I think it was April at that point, which is late in the process for recruiting for seniors, for sure.
So your mind was racing that whole time.
Yeah.
You were just thinking,
Yeah, for sure. I just decided I was going to commit, and that ended up being one of the best decisions for me. I got to campus that next year, and then I had a really good freshman year. I came off the bench. I contributed right away. And then that's another thing why I say that everything happens for a reason, because like maybe my career and my life wouldn't have went the same way if I went to a different school or tried to go to a D1 school, not have gotten as much playing time, not have been able to show off what I can do on the court as much as I did at UNC Pembroke. So like that's why I definitely say I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. Because at the time, I didn't know why like this was happening to me, as in like why I wasn't going to a D1 school. But every year that I was at UNC Pembroke, I got better every single year. I just kept getting better and better, and I was able to really hone in on my skills.
Because you see that a lot with young players, especially young players that have a lot of talent. It doesn't really matter which sport you're looking at. A lot of times they'll get an offer from a really, really good team in like Division 1 or something like that. And instead of going to a team that's D2 or something, where you get playing time as a good player, they'll try to go to D1, and then you kind of just disappear because you won't get a lot of playing time. And that's one of the really important.
You got to get on the court to show what you can do. So like that's my thing. Like you got to go where you're going to be able to play. So like that's the biggest thing for me, and I think that was the biggest thing for my career that helped me. I was able to like find what my game really was there. I was able to learn myself, and I think it worked out really well for me, because I mean we ended up winning a lot of games there, winning a lot of championships, conference championships, and I ended up having a great time in college, not only on the court but off the court as well.
So like all around was just a great experience.
Yeah, it was all around a great experience. Like I definitely can't complain, and I'm definitely glad with my decision, because I mean, like I said, like there's a lot of everything happens for a reason. There's a lot of people that didn't make it pro, and they went to way bigger schools than I did. So like I definitely can't complain about how things went for me at UNC
Yeah.
Pembroke. And like I said, it was hard for me coming out of high school because once I was a senior in high school, I had won a state championship. I felt like I was, at that point, I was starting to get pretty good, pretty well known in the state, and I felt like I was just always underrated. And like I said, I had won a state championship. I had a really good senior year. We fell short on the state championship in my senior year, but we had won my junior year, so it was hard for me going to UNC Pembroke because of like what I thought I should have, where I thought I should have been.
Yeah.
And
That was probably something that motivated you a lot.
yeah, for sure. And it ended up being a really good decision for me to go D2 and go to UNC Pembroke for sure.
That's one of those things that you just learn in life. It just takes time to, because in the first moment when there's something you really, really want, you don't think about anything else.
Right, exactly.
You're like, it's like you either reach that goal or that's just it.
Yeah.
And then after a while, you just kind of learn that not making it to this team, to this level, sometimes just was something better because you wouldn't end up in that situation if you would have gone to a different school. So all that stuff is just crazy, but you only see it afterwards.
Yeah.
You don't see it before.
I'll say it again. I'm so appreciative for going there because, I mean, I played with a lot of good players there, like Nigel Grant, Akia Pruitt. There's so many people I can name. Alex Bradley, Geo Mack, Jahai Wright, Drew Evans.
Was there any player that you played against in college that plays NBA now?
Yeah,
or like
we played
overseas
against,
here that you're kind of still on the same level too?
I mean, I played some players that play in the NBA. We played against the University of North Carolina the year they won the national championship. I can't remember who was on that team. I think it was Joe Barry, Kennedy Meeks, Theo Pinson, Isaiah Hicks.
So you played against all of those players?
Yeah, I played against my former AAU teammate, Seventh Woods was on that team also. So like that was really cool. And I'm sure I've played against some other NBA players. I can't even remember now because we played against Houston, we played against Creighton. So like we played against Ohio State. So there was definitely some NBA guys on those teams. So I can't really think of it off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But I even might have played against my teammate Brandon Childress because we
Really?
played against Wake Forest also, but I can't remember.
Yeah,
I gotta
so
do some research on that.
you walked us through your time, I mean your childhood, then like middle school, high school, and
Yeah.
then college. But at what point did you realize going pro is an option? That you want to go pro, you have to think about what your chances are going to be, where you want to go, so what your next steps are going to be.
When I got to my senior year in college, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. I mean, I couldn't imagine me just stopping playing basketball after my senior year. But I mean, so I knew if I had the opportunity to play professionally overseas, then I would definitely take that opportunity because like I said, I've been an athlete my whole life, so I couldn't really imagine me just stopping there if I knew I still had a lot in me. It's hard even making it overseas from a D2 because it's like there's a lot of D1 players
Yeah.
that are good too, that are good enough to come play overseas. So it's like, and D1 also has like a higher, like people hold that higher over a D2 obviously because there's
Yeah.
a lot of better D1 programs. You play against better competition, and that's just the facts of it. So like, even though there is really good players in D2, I mean, you're still playing against way better competition night in and night out when you play at a D1 school. So it's like you gotta fight that, and you have to have an agent that wants you.
Yeah, that's a question I wanted to ask you. How did you even get overseas? Because I don't think that's that easy.
Connections, like my coach, the coaches at my school, they were connected to my first agent, James Blackburn, and I'm really appreciative for him. I'm not with him anymore, but still, I'm so appreciative. I'm so appreciative for him for giving me the opportunity coming out of college. He was always at a lot of my college games, just scouting me, and like I feel like my school, UNC Pembroke, was really a hotbed for like good overseas players because like we had so much talent on our
Yeah.
teams. Like a lot of our coach didn't really take players at the D2 I went to. He didn't
Yeah.
really take players that couldn't play D1. So
Okay.
like we had a team full of like really good players. And my agent, he was from the area, so like he knew that, and he knew how good our players were. So like he was always focused on us. He would always come to our games, and like when I was a senior, I was the only senior on the team.
So he already knew you. He already.
Right. So
Okay.
he had been watching me for a couple years. So
Yeah.
like he knew that once I finished my senior year, he would try to work with me, and because that's the thing. Like when you can see somebody's game and see if they can have the ability to play professional basketball. So like I think he just saw that in me, and like again, I'm so appreciative for him because he gave me the opportunity to start my professional career. I started working with him at the end of my senior year, and that summer he got me my first job in Lucinic, Slovakia. That was my first
Yeah.
professional season in Slovakia in 2019. And so yeah, that was my first professional season.
Okay. So what stations did you go through here in Europe? So you went through college, and then through your agent you came here to Europe.
Yeah.
And so what were your stations here up to this point today here in Germany?
My first year, I was in Slovakia. That was a pretty interesting year for me because that was my first year in Europe. And then I was so naive to everything. Like, I was just happy to be playing basketball and getting a little bit of money for it. So, like, I had no complaints at the time because that was my first time being in Europe. And, like, when I came, and I was in a very small city called Lucinic.
Bigger
And
than this year in Crailsheim, or probably same size, or
probably a little bit small. I don't know, maybe around the same size. But it wasn't the same level of basketball, so like it was a little
okay.
bit different. But like I was there and like I just thought like that's just how Europe was, like that's how everywhere was. And I was just so stupid at that time. But I was there, we were having a pretty good season and then COVID hit.
That's just something I
So
just hate hearing when there's a pro player that has a good rhythm,
yeah.
and then COVID hit, and you just have nothing for like a year.
I mean it wasn't a year. I mean we got home, I think what was it, March? Or yeah, it was March we went home. Cause I wasn't even paying attention. This is bad, but I wasn't even paying attention to really like the COVID situation. I didn't understand it at the time. One day they were just like, we canceled games for 2 weeks, and I was just like, what is this? It's that bad? So like they ended up forfeiting the whole season. We went home in March.
The whole season, they
Yeah,
just called it off.
they just cut the whole season off
Dang.
after like 20 games, and then. Yeah, I was just home. But that was a really good summer for me and my little brother. That was a really good summer for me. We worked out so much during that time. Like,
You mean like just training or just
yeah,
connections? And
just training.
okay.
We trained every day at like 6 in the morning for like probably 5 months straight. But I mean, COVID, looking back, like I said, it was a good time for me. It gave me a good reset. And like I said, we trained a lot. That was a big time for my little brother as well. But after that season, I went back to the same team because the market, I mean, from what I was told then, the market was kind of weird and like I was still a rookie that last year and I still needed to prove myself more. I didn't understand it and I didn't really want to go back there the next year. That's why I was really frustrated at that time. But my second season, I went back. I had an even better season that year. But during that season, like we had no fans. Like the
Just
gym,
zero.
we couldn't have any fans, so we just
Just
played in
like
front of an
here.
empty gym like this.
Dang.
And yeah, that was hard. But I mean, it was still basketball at the end of the day. But I had a really good season individually. But it got really like mentally taxing at the end because like at one point you were just ready to go home, and because it was just like I said, it was a small city. We couldn't go anywhere. We couldn't because my first year we would travel. Me and my teammates, we would travel to Budapest. We would travel to Vienna.
Yeah.
Uh, and
What
it
kind
was
of
just,
players were on that team? Was it like Americans like you or?
yeah, we had 6 other Americans.
Okay.
Mike Caffey, Melsan Basabi, uh, Jason Dunn, Andrew Udy, and one other. Or maybe no, we had a Ukrainian guy, Kostas too.
Because
A big 7'3" guy.
I picture that really important that you had some Americans on that team.
Yeah. So that's good. That's big on every team in overseas when you play, like having some Americans that are from where you're from. Not only Americans, but like imports, because I mean everybody's not gonna be from America.
Yeah.
Like, but most of them are probably gonna be from there. But I mean, it's important to have somebody that is going through kind of like the same struggles that you're going through. So yeah. So yeah, my second year, I had a pretty good year. I had better numbers and things of that nature. Because I had worked out so much that summer before or during that COVID season, during that COVID time.
So that work just paid off
Yeah,
at the
it
end.
definitely paid off. It definitely separated me a lot. And then my third year, I went on to Austria, and that was another good year for me. But that was my first year, like being on kind of a struggling team. We were struggling, but I was playing well individually, but it was still hard and mentally taxing. And on top of that, we were still going through the COVID situation during that year. Like the COVID situation in Austria was really bad. So like we were still having to get tested before every game, twice before every game actually. Like we would have to have shoot around. The day before the game, we would have to take a real test. Right before the game, you would have to take a rapid test. And so you had to do that every single game.
Yeah, that's just
annoying. And it
annoying.
was just 2/3 of the season, like nothing was open. We couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
None of the shops were open, so like that was hard too. But then towards the end of that season, everything started opening back up. But I had a good season that year also.
So it was 2 years in Slovakia.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
practically 2 seasons
Yeah.
in Slovakia. Then one in Austria.
Yeah.
So what was your next station then from that point
Then
on?
I was which was last year, I was in Sweden, playing for the Norrköping Dolphins. And that was a really good experience for me. When I got there, they had won 2 championships in a row already, 2 Swedish championships. And I feel like that was a big step in my career because that was my first time I would be able to be playing in European competition. We were playing in the FIBA Europe Cup. And
so just that itself was just more motivation for you.
Yeah, that itself was what really drew me to them, because I felt like I wanted to just take a next step in my career and try to get to better leagues and try to prove myself to better competition. I ended up playing really, really well in the FIBA Europe Cup, and I ended up playing well in the regular season also. We ended up winning the championship, so that was 3 in a row for them. And so, yeah, that ended up being a really good season. I really appreciate Norrköping. They have a really good organization there, and I just really enjoyed my time there.
How was their facility? So like their normal stadium where you guys played in, and then like the training facility?
Nah, we had one facility. That's what was different about them in Sweden. They owned their gym. So like the arena that they played in was like only we used it. Only the men's team and the girls team used it. And I felt like that was a big plus for them, and it still is to this day, because we could get in there and work out whenever we wanted to.
So it's not like one of those arenas where they, like, right after the game, they'll just take the court?
Like the floor's not going anywhere. Nobody's like coming in there performing or doing any like other stuff in there. Like it's strictly for the basketball team and the men's and the women's teams. So like I really enjoyed my time in Norrköping. It was a really good opportunity for me. And
so were there times where you just went into the gym like at 2 a.m. or something?
Nah, you couldn't go quite that late.
Up to like 10 p.m. or something?
Yeah, probably up until like 11 or 12 you could go.
Okay.
But like you couldn't go that late because like they would bring a security guard in
Oh, okay.
And everybody had a key to the gym also. So like,
You don't want anything to happen.
yeah. So that brings us to here.
So 1 year in Sweden,
Yeah.
and then you came here to Crailsheim.
Yeah.
What was the reason you came to this team?
I mean, the reason why I came here was because of the league that they're in. This is one of the best leagues in the world, and like, I just wanted to prove that I belong in a league like this. So like, I just wanted to take, like I said, I just wanted to take that next step in my career, and I just felt like the opportunity to play in this league was like a no-brainer for me, and because I feel like I still have a lot to prove, and you just have to keep showing people what you can do especially in these higher leagues. So like,
Yeah.
I feel like this is a great opportunity for me to show that.
To just get the playing time, use that, and just grow.
Right. And I played against Crailsheim last year.
Really?
When I was in Norrköping. Yeah, when I was in Sweden.
Wow.
We played against each other.
Was that like
I had a real good game against Crailsheim last year. So I feel like that's the reason why I'm here also.
So you kind of gave them an impression. You kind of proved them, okay.
I mean, I feel like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, and that's why it's important to try to make a good impression and try to play your hardest against, because you never know who's watching. I mean, if I feel like, what if I didn't play that well versus Norrköping? Versus Crailsheim, maybe I wouldn't be here right now.
Yeah.
So
That's crazy sometimes.
That's why I feel like everything happens for a reason.
Yeah. So you've pretty much walked us through your whole life so far. But during that time, because from the point of view of a fan, you only see the good sides. You only see the players when it's showtime, and that's it. So as soon as the game's over, you take some pictures sometimes, and that's it. The fans pretty much don't get a chance to see what your life is besides that. So at what point in your life you just had to face something that was really, really difficult in that situation, especially being a young player coming over to Europe? So what difficulties did you go through?
A really difficult part of my life was, I think, going into my senior year of college. I had to have knee surgery or it was on my right knee actually, but I had to have knee surgery. I had a torn meniscus. Yeah.
Torn meniscus.
Yeah, I had a torn meniscus.
That's like one of the worst.
And I can say it. Now it's not that bad. It's not as bad as like an ACL or MCL or anything like that. But it was definitely sidelining me for a little minute. And I mean, I can say it now because like I'm out of school and everything like that. But I got it in a super dumb way. I was playing like I was trying to be competitive and play flag football with the football team at my school. And I wanted to prove to them that I could play football. And I was just going a little too hard, and I ended up tearing my meniscus playing flag football, trying to prove myself with the football team. But luckily, it was like right after the season had ended, the basketball season had ended. So like, I kind of like blamed it. I kind of told the trainers that it was because I got it during like a basketball workout.
So nobody was supposed to find out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because if I would have told them that I got it playing flag football, they would have been like, "What are you doing?" Like,
Yeah.
And so I tore my meniscus. I had surgery, and that happened in April. And I didn't have my surgery because they had to get everything straightened out with the insurance. I didn't have my surgery until I think June 24th.
Really?
Yeah. And so I was already like kind of skeptical about that because I was trying to get my surgery as fast as I could so I could come back and be healthy for my senior year.
Yeah.
Because my senior year, I was going to be the only senior. I was supposed to be like the leader of the team that year.
To just get that recovery in and just keep going.
So I just wanted to get the recovery and get back as early as possible. And so like they were prolonging it. And then I ended up finally having the surgery on June 24th. And then on July 4th, I got into a really bad car accident. And that was probably the worst time in my life because first of all, I wasn't even supposed to be driving. So
did you have your license at that point?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had my license, but I wasn't supposed to be driving because I had a cast on my leg,
Oh.
and I was supposed to be non-weight bearing, and my leg, like I wasn't supposed to be bending my leg like that because, like obviously I was going through the recovery from the surgery, and then so I got in an accident.
So was it like any kind of bad accident where did somebody like die or?
No, nobody died, but somebody got hurt, and it was me. But
So you were already hurt and then you
yeah,
got
I was.
extra
Yeah,
hurt.
yeah, yeah.
Dang.
So in the accident, like I ended up like biting through my graphic content right now, but I ended up biting through my tongue and my lip. Like,
Dang.
yeah, it was all bad, and like my tongue. I'm not even gonna say it like how it looked, but like it was all messed up. That was a really bad time of my life, and it was during the summer, so like not too many people knew that went on.
So it's not like it's going on during school or anything, and they're gonna see you the next day.
So it happened during the summer. Nobody was at school really. Yeah, I totaled my car. I had a brand new car. I had it for 6 months at the time.
What kind of car was it?
It was a Camaro.
Okay.
So
Fast.
yeah, yeah, I totaled that, and it was just a really bad time in my life because I was already going through the recovery, and then I had to recover from that. I couldn't eat for Lord knows how long. Like I had stitches all in my tongue, stitches all in my mouth. Like it was just a really bad time. Luckily, like that was the only thing that got hurt. Like was literally my mouth, like my tongue and my lip. But it was completely like all messed up. Like it was bad where it was hurt, but like I was fortunate not to like be hurt anywhere down here or anywhere else, or like that was a really bad time in my life because I was already in my own head about am I going to come back the same for next season, and because of my knee.
Yeah.
And
so you had to worry about your mouth, that accident, and then extra your knee for getting back on track.
Because I mean, I was supposed to be non-weight bearing for 6 weeks. That means like I wasn't supposed to be walking or standing on putting weight on my leg for 6 weeks, and so like
that's a long
I
time.
wasn't even. So at that point, I hadn't even started the recovery process really because I'm supposed to not be doing anything for 6 weeks with the leg.
Yeah.
So for that to happen to me at that time, before I even started any recovery on my knee, that was really just bad. That was all bad. That was a really bad time in my life for sure.
But still, probably you're happy about that. Nothing too serious happened. I mean.
Yeah, I'm happy about it. And at the end of the day, like I ended up making a full recovery on my knee, and like.
Do you still have problems sometimes? Or?
Nah. I don't have problems anymore. But I mean, when I first started coming back and I was first cleared, I had some inflammation problems, but like it's all good now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I ended up making a full recovery. I ended up having a great senior year. I had my best year yet, my senior year. So like, it was just crazy, like, cause I was really in my head about it going into that year. But yeah, it ended up working out for me.
Yeah, so you were kind of, I mean, first of all, lucky that nothing too serious happened, and then also that you kind of had time to recover and to, Do you have any difficulties here? Like, I mean, obviously, I wouldn't think that you know how to speak German.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the Americans don't. But the good thing that I expect the people here, because people here know how to speak English, usually, in the most cases. So do you have any like difficulties here, like language or?
Not really, because I mean, for the most part, I'm in this basketball bubble. Like, I talk to a lot of people that already know English because like they interact with a lot of American players. They all like, you kind of got to know English if you're gonna interact with us.
Yeah.
Like talking about like the management, the coaches, all my teammates, like. But I mean, I do come across some people like maybe in like a grocery store or something, especially in Crailsheim because it's not that big of a city. Like not everybody is exposed to a lot of American culture, I guess.
Yeah.
At least that's what I think. And maybe they occasionally don't speak English that well, but I mean, it's not that bad. I've been in worse places. Like when I was in Slovakia.
I would
I felt
picture
like
that.
nobody spoke English really. But yeah, Germany's cool.
So what do you like about living here? So like the things that you like about versus that you don't, or it's just kind of part of the American culture, kind of that you can't get used to the food, or you can't get used to the lifestyle, or
Nothing really. Like, I mean, because I've been, like I said, I've been playing this is my 5th year. So, I mean, and you spend so much time here. Like, you spend 10 months out of the year here.
yeah.
In Europe, at least. So, like, it's not really anything that surprises me at this point. And Germany's been, like, one of the cool places, like, for sure. The only thing I don't like is, like, the speeding blinkers. Like,
Oh, the speed cameras.
yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Did you get tickets yet? Don't want to talk about
A
it.
couple.
Yeah, they do. They do get.
Because in America it's like you got to actually get pulled over
Yeah.
by a physical cop.
Yeah,
like
they don't have
in a
those.
cop car, but like
Or it's a cop that has a speed gun or something.
right.
Yeah.
And then they come and get you, but it's like, yeah, I don't like speed cameras.
Yeah, they do. I mean, on the one side, it's good because here in
Yeah.
Germany you can go how fast you want to go on the autobahn.
Yes,
not
that's
here.
just backwards. Well, not backwards, but I mean like because they'll give you a ticket for going 5 over, but then on the other side you can go 230 kilometers per hour on the
Yeah.
highway. But hey,
It really
I don't make
is.
the rules. I just need to try to follow them.
So is there like German food that you started to enjoy more, or is it kind of just you, even though it's like a German grocery store, you still kind of eat what you used to eat, just different products?
I just try to buy what I'm used to and just make that. I mean, I don't really try to make like German dishes or anything like that. Or, I mean, I usually cook for myself. I usually cook like the same thing though. So like, there's really not much changing up.
Yeah, so walk us through like a normal week. So let's say it starts Monday, you
Yeah.
have practice, just a normal game day week during your season, and then Saturday, Sunday you have a game. So what does a normal week look like? Like for example, your free time. What do you do in your free time?
I do a lot of different things in my free time. Like I browse for different things. Like I'm into a lot of vintage clothing, so like I'm always browsing for that. I read some. I watch a lot of shows, watch a lot of movies, try to get inspired from different things. I've been trying to write in a journal a little bit more. I've been slacking a little bit lately, but when I'm in the mood, I'll definitely write something. I listen to a lot of music, like.
So what kind of
much.
artists are the ones that you say they're the best?
It's too many, bro. I can't. It's hard. It's hard. Like I got a really wide range of music tastes, so like it's hard for me to single it down to 1 or 2 or 3 or even 10. So like, but I like all kinds of music. I think I just have an appreciation for a lot of different music because I just can't understand what good music is and why someone else would like it. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Because everybody's just different.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I've realized a lot working with more players in the league.
Yeah.
Is the music they listen to and the music they like, because it's very different. And the style, the way they want their videos and all that stuff. It's just cool to see how different people like their music, their style, and all that stuff.
For sure.
So like now that you're kind of away from your family, is that difficult for you to be overseas? And I mean, you're here 10 months of the year, so is that difficult for you? Or?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely difficult being away from your family. I mean, I've kind of gotten used to it, but it's still hard every year. I'm really close to my family. My older brother, my little brother especially, he's a freshman in college this year. I've never seen him play a high school basketball game. I saw him play at AAU because it's during the summer, but like I've never seen him play a
During
high
the
school
season.
basketball game. Yeah. And we went to the same high school, or he went to the high school I went to. So like, that's tough. I don't get to see my mom that much, but she will be here for my birthday. She's coming in
You're in January soon.
Yeah, in January soon. So like she'll be here, which that'll be nice. But
is it just her coming or the whole family?
yeah, nah, it's just her.
Okay.
Everybody's schedule is so crazy.
Okay.
Like everybody has their own life, so it's just hard for everybody to just stop what they're doing and just come over here to visit me.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's hard. Yeah, I don't get to see a lot of my family, and then when I come home, it's hard to see everybody.
Yeah.
It's just because you don't have that much time at home, but that's definitely a sacrifice that you have to make. You don't get as much time with your family. You miss out on a lot of events, miss out on a lot of birthdays, Christmases, Thanksgivings, just everything.
Yeah.
My older brother has a child, so I have a nephew that I don't really get to see grow up that much, and it's definitely difficult. But
Yeah.
I mean,
Just
like I
being
said,
away from all that.
Yeah, but like I said, it's a sacrifice for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I can picture that pretty difficult, especially if you're young and it's like your first or second year out here.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been doing this for like 5-6 years, and it's still kind of difficult for you to adapt to
I
that.
don't think it'll never not be difficult because I mean, like your family is. I mean, I believe like everybody needs family. Like,
yeah.
That's what keeps you.
That's always
solid.
going to
That's
be
what keeps
like.
you sane.
Yeah.
So it's definitely hard.
Okay, so let's talk about. So this is like one of the last things I want to talk about with you. Your last home game.
Yeah.
Against Tübingen. So I recorded like the last quarter, pretty much the last quarter, because I had to focus on filming you. Because when I film you, I have to hold the camera like this, so it's already in the shape for Instagram. But if I'm recording and you're not on the field or on the court, or I can see, okay, you're playing defense, so I don't really have to record right now. So I was just going back and forth the whole time. But you guys were down like 20, something around 20 points.
23 or 26.
I think 26 was like the high or the low. So at what point did you guys realize, okay, we're going to come back and get this W?
It's hard to imagine that, but when you're playing, you just always try to keep doing your best. I mean, because everybody knows, or at least everybody that really plays knows that like anything can happen on a basketball court. Like everybody has seen crazy games, crazy comebacks before, and this is one of them for sure. I don't think I've ever been a part of a comeback like this, honestly. And so it's hard to visualize it, but you just know it's possible. And like once you just get that feeling, and you get, especially with the home crowd behind you, when they start getting that feeling, they see you're still fighting. And I think a big thing for us was just defensively, we started locking in more, started making some shots, started getting to the free throw line.
Yeah.
And I think that just helped us a lot. And then going to the fourth quarter, Fabi hit that buzzer beater, little floater. So I think that was huge for us. It gave us momentum going to the fourth. I think that put us down 13.
Yeah.
So, like that was a crazy game. And I'm glad that I got to experience that. I'm glad we got that win for the fans. And I'm glad that we could give the fans something that, like, I don't think anybody's going to forget that anytime soon. That was there for sure not.
Because I got your steal that made it. I think you got it to DeAndre or something.
Yeah,
I think you got it to DeAndre, and then he tied it, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So that was a crazy game for sure. That was one of the.
So I'm actually gonna blend in the scenes.
Yeah.
Especially then the moment when, because you guys were up with 3 points. It was like 15 seconds left or something. And Tübingen had 3 tries to make 3 points.
Yeah.
And all of them were misses. And that moment when the people knew it's over, that moment that was crazy. That energy.
That was a really special moment. There was a lot of emotions from everybody. I felt like it's the team, the management, the fans, like everybody was just emotionally invested into the game because of how far we had came back from behind. So like there was a lot of good moments captured by the cameraman. There was a lot of just emotion in the air.
Yeah.
That was a good feeling for sure. Great feeling.
Because I was focused on, because my number one priority at the games when I when I'm there for you is filming you.
Yeah.
That's my number one priority. But at the same time, I wanted to capture the moment when you, because I had a feeling, okay, you guys are gonna get that. You guys are gonna come back and win this game. But it was so that vibe, or the way the people were at that moment, it was so energetic that I was literally shaking. I was just there, and I had no clue if this is gonna work or not. And then that moment when you finally got that win, and it was an important win.
You're right.
At the same time.
So
yeah, so this is probably the last topic for this episode. So it's December right now. We'll have Christmas and New Year's Eve in a few weeks. So what are your goals? Like, it could be personal goals, so even besides basketball. But then, of course, what are your goals regarding basketball that you want to reach in this coming year?
I just want to keep getting better, honestly, like in all facets of life. Like, I obviously want to be a better player to help my team. I want to be way more efficient, just limit all my mistakes on the court, even though I know it's impossible, but just limit it as much as possible. Try to take this momentum and build in the right way. And we have some goals as a team that we want to accomplish. I got some goals myself also, but I think I want to keep that close to the chest, because I don't like to put my goals out in public. I just like to keep it to myself and then try to achieve them.
So only show it when it's done.
Right, exactly. So, I want to, like I said, I want to keep growing as a person off the court, keep being a good role model, keep being a good son, trying to be the best brother I can be, best cousin, best everything, best friend. So just want to continue to grow as a person, for sure.
Yeah, well, James, I really appreciate you taking the time and coming out to be on this episode.
Yeah, for sure.
I really appreciate it, and especially you being the first player that ever gave me a chance to film, and hopefully this working out as hopefully a career sometime. So I really appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
You're one of the most humble guys I know right now, and I've got to know just during this time. But yeah, I really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
For you guys out there, I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. If you guys want to see more videos like this, like episodes, just leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I appreciate the support.